blah boopity ba ya ba ba. Blah boopity ba ya boo ba blah blah boopity ba ya ba ba blah blah blah.
Hello, how are you? Great to be back with a brand new series of Points of View. But while we're back, Question Time, the BBC's flagship political discussion show, was on a break. And the break, as breaks often do, happened to come in a massively internationally significant week of the year. Now, these things can't always be helped, but viewer Oliver Smith, amongst others, asks, where was the planning?
This has been an exceptional week in UK politics, with the G20 in London, another collapsing financial institution, and the continuing debacle over MPs' expenses. So why was there no Question Time on Thursday night? Just because Parliament has gone into recess doesn't mean that news and politics stop, so why should the public debate stop? And I'm sure that you could find enough MPs who are keen to show that they are busy working and not simply on an extended holiday.
Apparently, the MPs are on a break, and for some reason, Question Time also has a holiday at the same time. You'd have thought they could have had a special, though.
Question Time is made by an independent company for the BBC, and the senior people there were all on their holes. But the BBC's head of political programmes, Sue English, is in overall charge.
Question Time is scheduled to fit with the parliamentary sessions, so it is off the air during the summer, Christmas and Easter recesses. The G20 meeting this week in London is a major event and will be comprehensively covered by BBC News programmes. The key issues which the G20 leaders are considering on the world economy, fiscal stimulation and banking regulation have been discussed in detail by Question Time audiences and panels over recent months and will no doubt feature prominently when the programme comes back on the 23rd of April.
Scheduling. We're not even 2 minutes into our new season, and there's that word. Money in the swear box, please. Now, with our next complaint, you might feel déjà vu all over again. Yes, it's our old favourite EastEnders, the show that got trailed in nearly every break between programmes on BBC1 and 2 for the past fortnight. Thursday night saw a good old-fashioned soap opera wedding. Happiest day of their lives? Hardly.
Get out, everyone, get out!
Come on, it's time to go, everyone. Home, please.
Go on, get out, everyone, get out!
As our message board exploded into life, it was no surprise that the show attracted 10.6 million viewers for its first airing, and figures aren't yet in for the omnibus. But it certainly caused a furore amongst those who saw it, with 16 separate threads on the message board within hours of the broadcast, and more than 200 calls to the switchboard by Friday morning. The reaction was mixed.
Why can't we for once have a happy ending? Killing off Danielle in her moment of happiness was sad and cruel to the viewing public, who invested months of their time in following this storyline. It's about time road humps were put in Albert Square. How many more are going to get run over before the council acts?
I have to say, in all the time I've been a casual watcher of EastEnders, the acting has never been as good as it was with the climax of the Ronnie Danielle storyline. But the people writing really do need to be pensioned off. They're obviously cribbing every plot device that's ever worked for EastEnders in the past.
You will be losing 2 more regular viewers after tonight's episode, and after looking at your online message boards, it looks like we're not the only 2 leaving. After dragging out one of the most long-winded storylines ever, EastEnders take the opportunity of having an uplifting ending or happy ending to the saga and throw it in the bin. Instead, they go back to their tried and failed approach of adding more misery to the programme.
It was amazing, an explosive episode which rose my heartbeat. It didn't drop below 150 BPM. Things at the BBC had become stale, but this episode had all the ingredients of a superb cinematics feature, gripping and entertaining.
Luckily, we did hear the last gasp before the famous bongs began, but that is not the case with all incidental music. Despite the constant calls from viewers to turn down background music, it seems to have surged while we've been away. Connection? And it's nature programmes now where the backing tracks are upstaging the animals.
Nature's Great Events, what a lovely programme. Great pictures and commentary, but only marred by that ever-present dramatic music. I expect this music is added to make the programme more attractive and more saleable in big markets like the USA, where this kind of background music seems popular. But why not add this to the overseas version when it's needed and spare us from it here?
Sadly, we're becoming used to loud, irritating background music in so many BBC programmes these days. Thousands of people all over the country have complained about this, many contacting Points of View, but it is quite clear that nobody at the BBC is listening.
Lurking in the background of television land, there's a gang I call the noisemakers, and I think they should be banned. Their repertoire is endless. They never miss a trick. I can't imagine how they do it, but they really make me sick.
Can it be done? Is there a mechanical or scientific reason why we can't hear animals on TV without backing music? Well, no. Watch BBC Two's Yellowstone and listen for, not a pin drop, something better. The grizzly licking its lips. Whereas on nature's great events, the gulls and herring could hardly hear themselves think.
But they push the herring within range of the gulls. It's a feeding frenzy.
There was a lot of praise for the research and photography that went into this programme, so do the makers have regrets about the music?
Well, we're thrilled with the positive. We've had around 8 million viewers over the course of these 6 weeks and added to by other viewers on iPlayer during the week, so we're thrilled with that. It's disappointing to hear that some viewers have found the music levels a bit high. It's something we're very sensitive to. I mean, upon hearing these comments, we would go back into the dubbing suite and we would have a discussion with the dubbing mixer, with the producer, and say, you know, let's look at this, let's listen to this very carefully and see if there are moments in this film where there's a possibility that, say, David's narration might be being spoiled by the level of music. We would take action, absolutely.
Brian Leith agreeing to turn it down a bit on nature's great events if there's another series. If there isn't, he can have it as loud as he wants.
I don't believe it!
Victor Meldrew? Sticking Richard Wilson in vintage cars to discover Britain's best drives for BBC4 made for some lovely overhead shots and some rather bone-shaking car interior moments. In a previous life, Richard, of course, played the arch-complainer Victor Meldrew. His driving skills brought out the Meldrew in one of our viewers.
Well, I've been driving since 1954 and I've driven all sorts of cars, hundreds of thousands of miles.
There is no country in the world so completely satisfying to tour as the British Isles.
My first thought was the BBC trying to degrade old drivers. He stalls at the roundabouts.
Did they have roundabouts in the 50s?
No, I don't suppose they did.
Oops.
Right, I'm glad you're having such a good time, darling.
He crunches his gears.
I'm still finding the camper van's retro gearbox a bit of a lucky dip.
Third. Oh, I'm going to have to try.
He straddles the white line even on straight roads. He's no good at hill starts. He gives up completely.
You would like to do it?
I'll give it a go,
The driving that he showed on television gives older drivers a bad name.
I just wish I had a chance to get used to my car's odd little foibles first.
See, it does this. It's... I don't know why it does that first. But then, it's...
I really enjoy the programme, but the driving by Richard really gives me the willies.
Thanks, Bill. It's always nice to get a highway code refresher. Elsewhere on BBC1, another fresh offering with a lot of familiar faces was All the Small Things, a drama following the marital disharmony of a choir.
Thanks,
extra one-to-one rehearsals? 3 already this week.
Yeah?
Wouldn't it bother you?
Olive, he's a choir master and a lecturer with an honours degree in flirting.
I think this is looking very promising indeed. An excellent start to what I hope will turn out to be an enjoyable series.
The first episode was laughable in the dialogue and situation. I was looking forward to this drama but found the whole premise very poor.
A very mixed response, but those sort of extramarital goings-on would certainly never be allowed in the Lark Rise to Candleford Choir. In fact, Sunday night is building itself a reputation as the bastion of high morals and gentle drama. But can it last?
Well, we enjoy pretty well everything on a Sunday evening. They're all wholesome, I think is the word I would use. They're all free of bad language. and horrible situations. They give you a good feeling.
Antiques Roadshow, of course, is fascinating when people find things that they'd no idea were valuable.
But is the real thing 2 to 3,000?
I'm amazed.
It's beautifully acted, isn't it? And so natural.
But the same rain that revealed some things obscured others.
This is one of the grandest of the Victorian cathedrals to science, the Oxford University Museum of Natural History. The whole building is a hymn to scientific endeavour.
So, a scheduling success. But what does the future hold for Sunday evenings?
Going forward, we've got a new series with Griff Rhys-Jones about British rivers coming up later in the year. Antiques Roadshow continues and is back later on in this year, and Lark Rise returns next year to BBC1. So it's a flavour that we know people like, and we're going to have much more of that on BBC1 over the coming months and years, I'd imagine.
Keep it up. I think that's how we feel. There's enough misery and in the world.
Good point. Now, mental arithmetic. 2 minutes plus 1 minute 30. 7? Anyway, we're short on time, and as you see, maths is not my strong point. It's not something Alan Davis is likely to teach at college either.
I can remember doing Venn diagrams.
Yeah, what's that about then?
There's some things in here are also in here. And other things that are in here but aren't in there, they're in there.
Right, yeah.
Apart from our Turn the Music Down chorus, Don't Dumb Down Horizon is the other great cry. Let's run the slide rule over the latest episode.
Why must Horizon keep having a celebrity face of the week to front their programmes? I think that most people who would want to watch Horizon aren't so stupid that we can't enjoy a programme about genetics or physics without it being presented to us through a celebrity.
The worst one so far, and a perfect example of how ridiculous this series has become. Dreadful.
I may have got the numbers wrong earlier, but time really is up for this week. Don't forget, write to Points of View, BBC Birmingham, B1 1AY. You're also more than welcome to email. The address is pov@bbc.co.uk. Our website is bbc.co.uk/POV. Or phone us. The number is charged as a local rate call from a landline. And it is 0370 908 3199. Goodbye.